Assalamu alaikum. Let's try and wake everyone up. Assalamu alaikum. Masood, I didn't hear you. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Bilal. I'm a local Cape Townian. I know I don't have the accent. I've been here 4 years now, so I think I can call myself a local now. I have a South African passport too. Does anyone put your hand up if you know who Mullah Nasruddin is? If you've heard of Mullah Nasruddin, Sheikh, Hijrah, he goes by different names. Of course, Imran, you know. So Mullah Nasruddin, I'm also creative, I'm an artist, so I'm going to put some fancy animations. I hope you appreciate them. So Mullah Nasruddin is this famous character from Islamic sort of folklore, this dervish, kind of crazy dude. And there's all sorts of funny stories that are told about him. And since this is a storytelling session, I wanted to start with the story of Mullah Nasruddin. So one day, Mullah Nasruddin was at the border of his town. He was on his hands and knees, and he was looking for something. And one of his students comes along, and he says, "Sheikh, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm looking for my keys." So the sheikh says, the student says, "Sheikh, let me come and help you." So the student comes on his hands and knees, and he joins the sheikh, and they're looking for the keys. And eventually, the student turns around and he says, "Sheikh, are you sure you dropped your keys here?" And the sheikh, he says, "No, I dropped it near my house." The student says, "Sheikh, what are we doing?" And then the sheikh says, "Oh, the light's here." Now, in each of the stories, there's a wisdom. Because if you're in this room as an entrepreneur, as a tech enthusiast, as someone who's trying to serve the community, perhaps what that's saying is that you're someone who's willing to look where it's difficult, not where it's easy. And so much of the time we do what is expedient over what is necessary. And so that's what I want to sort of unpack a little bit today. So, fast forward, this is my fancy animations, to Madinah. I want to give a special shout out to Ismail because it's such a beautiful theme that he's picked up on building Madinah. But you can't get to Madinah until you've made Hijrah to Madinah. And I have a very special relationship with the Hijrah, as some of you know who've come to my workshops and programs before. This photo was actually taken on the route. Last year, I walked from Mecca to Madinah, retracing the original route of the Hijrah. And I have a special relationship with that little portion of the Seerah, and there's a lot of workshops and talks and programs we do about the Hijrah. But what's amazing about, we understand the Seerah as like Makki and Madani, right? But what about the Hijrah? It's not in Makkah, it's not in Medina. It's the barzakh, it's the interspace, it's the connector between the two. It's got its own beginning, middle, and end, its own stories and its own lessons. The Hijrah is about leaving one place and going to another. And in searching for refuge, and searching for a new start. And in a way, our lives are a hijrah, right? We are migrating from Allah and His Messenger to Allah and His Messenger. And so, the hijrah has so many lessons, and I've written about it. But one particular lesson I want to pick up on is, here's another fancy animation for you. One particular lesson, if we look at the route, went the wrong way. There you go. So, this is really incredible to think about. Those of you who have been for Umrah or Hajj will know Madinah is north of Mecca, right? And when the Prophet sets off for the Hijrah, where does he go? Does he go north? No. Does he go east? No. Does he go west? He goes south. He takes the opposite direction. And this isn't just about being prudent to avoid the trackers, and it's a strategy. It's something that's prophetic. I want this to sit with you. Sometimes the quickest way to the destination is going in the opposite direction. Sometimes we have to take a step backwards in order to get to Medina, right? Now, I can just imagine today, I was saying to a friend earlier that you can imagine if the YouTubers and TikTok warriors, were watching the Hijrah being live streamed. They're like, Abu Bakr doesn't know where he's going. They're going the wrong way. Astaghfirullah, haram. And it's a lesson. And I was talking to Yusuf just earlier about Zahran Mamdani. That if you see a leader going in the opposite direction, don't assume you know what's going on. Maybe there's another plan at play. And maybe just hold your tongue. Didn't the Prophet ﷺ say, speak good or remain silent? So, now, the Prophet first goes south to Medina. And And whilst we're on the creative topic, does anyone know what's wrong with this picture? There's a particular, so there's these little circles. This is the centerpiece is an artwork that was done on the Hijrah. So you can see they're leaving the Kaaba, then going to Mount Thawr. Does anyone know what the tents represent? Any idea? Come on, Shayukh. Big beards, lots of big beards. Go on, shout it. No? The tents in the middle. No. Yeah, that's it. These are the tents of Ma'bad. The tents of Ma'bad. So you know the famous Hilya Sharif, the description of the Prophet ﷺ. Sometimes we stick it up on our walls. The famous hadith that describes the Prophet. This was done during the Hijrah, and it happened there. Then you have the famous story of Suraka, and then Quba, and getting to Medina. Do you know which one of these pictures is the most wrong? This kind of shocked me. Do you know the Prophet ﷺ, the Kaaba has only been black for the last 800 years. The Prophet ﷺ never looked at the Kaaba as a black cube. Isn't it amazing? Like we have this attachment. You think of the Kaaba, this thing, and this unity, and it's like the nuqta, the dot, and boom, 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 black cube. Do you know what the Prophet ﷺ most likely, what's closer to what he saw would be something like this. It was red and white stripes from they had luxurious cloth from Yemen. It's kind of shocking to think, and it speaks to the lack of imagination. And I put that down quickly because I'm going to make some fancy artwork with it. So we understand that we have to take a step backwards. So what do we have to take a step backwards from? Much of this is familiar to you, right? We, in the rush to build, the talk is by us for everyone, first order creativity. In the rush to build and get busy and active, we end up creating these Islamicized version of things, right? We have the halal restaurant, and your halal wine, and your halal beer, and your halal residential complex, and your halal TV. You've even got halal water. I don't know how you get halal water, but someone's making a nice buck giving these guys halal stamps. And when we look at the Prophet ﷺ's example, that, he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what I was going to say, we're so busy building like halal versions of Western things or even quote-unquote haram things that we forget to make beautiful things of our own. We put Islamic in front of everything. The Prophet ﷺ didn't come with Islamic Judaism. This is the Islamic Christianity for the Arabs. He came to confirm what was said before and then to return us to this primordial state. Instead of being what I call a Control-C, Control-V plus Bismillah Ummah, right? So let's look historically. Historically, Muslims invented algebra. They didn't call it Islamic mathematics. When Al-Khwarizmi was inventing algorithms, he didn't call it halal computation. He built systems that were better than anything else that was there, and humanity adopted it. This is what I call by us for... Come on, you guys sleeping. By us for everyone. When Al-Zahrawi, the famous medical physician, invented over 200 tools for surgery, the forceps, the stitches. This stuff was used for over 500 years in Europe from one Muslim inventor. We pioneered the coffee culture in the world. As many of you know, coffee, do you know what its original name was in Europe? What they used to call coffee? The Mohammedan bean. It was literally called the Mohammedan bean. And the West were like trying to ban it because they thought it was like some evil drink from the Muslims. We didn't call it Islamic tea, right? How did we get from a civilization that pioneered the science of optics and flight and astrology to now we have halal sunglasses, this is a real thing, and halal Islamic Sudoku, because you don't want to do the haram Sudoku, those numbers are going to get you. Like something's gone wrong. So that's the diagnosis. What's the solution? We don't need to necessarily look to Silicon Valley. We can look at the soil of these very lands here. We have incredible, incredible stories. And it's so amazing. I was just in Los Angeles a couple of weeks ago, and we have right now some of the biggest Muslim movers and shakers of California are visiting Cape Town, writing notes about Sheikh Yusuf and taking these stories back to their lands. We have so much here to inspire us. He had chains on his feet, but freedom in his heart. He didn't have a masjid. He didn't have a madrasa. He had colonial oppression. And yet he planted seeds that today we are still harvesting. I wonder what he would say if he could speak to us. Is he going to speak to us? No, don't worry. I didn't put an audio. That'd be too freaky. But he can speak to us maybe one day. You know, the same spirit that inspired Al-Khwarizmi is the same spirit that inspired Sheikh Yusuf and Tuan Guru and Imam Harun and all of the other heroes that we know of. You know Al-Khwarizmi, the famous mathematician. His book begins with the intention. What's his intention? Why was algorithms? Think about all the tech we have. Why the algorithms, everything that's built on this mathematics. Do you know what his intention was? He literally states it in the beginning of the book. This is to help with the utility for inheritance and partitioning and disputes and financial dealings. He wanted to ensure the justice of Allah was done right. Because the specificity in the Quran on inheritance and the rules, it was getting too complicated. Even the land was kind of awkward shaped land. So that's why they used quadratic equations. You know, a squared plus b squared minus, what is it? Minus b plus or 2 minus, you know what I'm talking about. You guys are clever people, right? These equations were developed because the land was kind of funny shaped and we have to work out what is the haqq of that zakat on this land. So the intention of this scientific evolution was about justice. It's the same thing that was moving Tuan Guru when he's writing copies of the Quran. And you want to build. If we are building here and we are working, what is our intention? Is it about just another halal beer and halal wine and halal Spotify and halal Netflix? And like, come on. We have to think. We've got the best inheritance from the best of people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The potential that tech and AI has to offer is huge. And you guys know that just as much as anybody. In the past, do you know who this guy is? Anyone? Shout it out. Anybody? Go on. Mansa Musa. Allegedly the richest man ever to be living, a Muslim king from West Africa. And when he went for Hajj, he said he distributed so much gold that it completely reset the economy of North Africa because everyone just had gold in their pockets because of his generosity. Though the story is funny to think about, that he gave out so much, but Mansa Musa was giving and building and transforming the whole of the society, not just the Muslims. And something that really struck me, I said I'm a South African, right? I'm a local now. And I'm really struck at how, instead of Mansa Musa, this is not to offend anybody, but we have Musa Memen, right? With his nice BMW and living in his gated community and his bulletproof car and sticking in his own little bubble. And I see so many young people here. And what is the aspiration? Is your name Musa Memen? Stand up. Stand up and take your glasses off. It's literally, let's stand up, come on. I got it, look, I got it to a T. Stand here, come, I gotta see, look at this. The suit, the shoes, stand, hold your phone, yeah, there you go. They say art imitates life, right? Or life imitates art, or one of those things, right? We've got to do better. We've got to do way, way better. The threat that this technology also poses is absolutely immense. There's an opportunity for us to build better, to build together. You've had some amazing presenters here. Ismail and the team, they're not getting paid to do this. They're doing it out of the good, the goodness of their heart. And the only way this ummah tech is going to really flourish is that each of us sees what is our unique contribution. How are we going to? What are we going to give? So let's build by us. For everyone, I have a more detailed workshop where I talk about how we build beautiful, how we build by serving humanity, and that ultimately vision will always trump bounty. That's my time. Let's try building less Islamic versions and more Islamic visions. Thank you.